Yeah. So maybe Shaheen, you'll be reminding me, or anybody else. If you notice I've not recorded, you can remind me. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, so we have the status, either rafa, nasab, or jar. Okay, so those are the only three conditions. You cannot have jazm, with a sukun on an ism. It will never happen. Jazm only happens with one thing. فعل مضارع. فعل مضارع. That's when you will see jazm. Otherwise, with ism, with other fi'als, you will not see jazm. And that's why here we have only rafa, nasab, and jar. Those are the three ones. So how do you tell if something is rafa? How do you tell if something is nasab? How do you tell something is jar? You look at either the ending sound or the ending combination. Is it, let's say, for example, Muslimun. So we have Muslimun. Okay, that's our word. Muslimun, we look at the ending. Is it sound or is it, for example, we have Muslimuna. Is it ending sound or ending combination? So we have, in the combinations, we have Muslimuna, we have Muslimani, we have Muslimaini, Muslimina. Those are some of the combinations we could have. So we look at the ending. So you see, when we talk about status, we are only talking about the ending, only the ending. Nobody is bothering with the beginning. When we talk about the beginning, this is sarf. This is the study of sarf. But study of nahu is just this part, the ending only. So Muslimun, is it ending sound, un and in, or is it ending combination, una, ani, aini, ina, one of those combinations, okay? If you have any questions by there, feel free to jump in and just stop me, and then we can address the question. Then the other thing that we look at is heavy versus light. Is it heavy or is it light? So heavy is the normal status of any ism. We expect it to be heavy. But when it is light, and what do we mean by heavy? It has this two, tanween, or it has an ending combination that has a noon. Okay, so this noonation, it's called, I think in English, that noonation is what makes a word heavy. When you hear the noon, muslimun, that n, or muslimuna, that noon at the end is what makes something heavy. But when you remove one tanween, so you have muslimu, then it's no longer heavy, it's no longer tanween. Or when you remove this noon and you have muslimu, then it's no longer heavy. Okay, so that becomes light. And then we have to ask ourselves, then why is it light? Because this is not the normal. Why is it light? There are several reasons. Actually, I think they only mentioned one here. So there are 4 reasons why an ism is light. Number 1, it is partly flexible, like they said. So like, for example, which word? Somebody give me an example of a partly flexible word. Let me see if there's somebody with that name here in the group.
Yathribu.
Yathribu. Yes, Yathribu is the name of a place, and it's partly flexible because it's a name of a place. So Yathribu, Yathriba, Yathriba. That would be light. So that is because it is partly flexible. The other reason is because it's a mudaf. Mudaf will never be heavy. It will always be light. Like Abdullahi. It will never be Abdun. You can't even pronounce it. Abdun, you can't even say it. If you're struggling to say something in Arabic, then no, it's wrong. Abdullahi, no, that's wrong. Abdullahi. See how smooth that is? Arabs don't like complications. They like to make things very smooth, very easy. So Abdullahi. If you say it and it sounds right, then you know it's right. So that's mudaf. The other thing is, what is the other? Who remembers the third reason? So we have partly flexible. We have mudaf. We have, who remembers? What is the other reason? Calling someone. Yeah, and nida. So when you call somebody, you don't say, Ya Muhammadun, Ya Aishatun. No. First of all, Aisha is already partly flexible. Mamnu' min as-sarf. It's partly flexible. Then you go ahead and put a tanween on it. You're even adding more grammar rules that don't exist. Yeah. So when you're calling somebody, it's always going to be light. Ya Aishatu, Ya Zainabu, Ya Maryamu, it's going to be always light. Unless, who remembers why? unless what happens? Sorry, no. It's going to be light, but it's going to be rafa. It's going to be light, but it's going to be rafa. But there's a case in which it can be nasab. When is a munada nasab? That's what I was saying. Sorry, repeat that again.
When it's an idafa?
When it's an idafa. So for example, I say, Ya Abdullahi. So normally, if I was just calling Abdu, I would just say, Ya Abdu, with a dhamma. But if I make it a mudaf mudaf ilayh, we know this is mudaf mudaf ilayh, then I have to put a fatha. Ya Abdallahi. Okay, so that's one other reason why an isim is light. What is the other reason why an isim, the last reason why an isim is light? We say it partly flexible, we say it idafa, we say it ya and nida, or the munada, the one being called. What is the last reason?
Categorical no.
Categorical no. La nafiyatu lil jins. So for example, if I say la ilaha illa Allah, kalimatu tawheed. So la ilaha, I can never say, I'm not supposed to say la ilahan. You will never find la ilahan. La tathriba. These are some of the examples of la ikraha fid din. These are some of the examples of la nafiyatu lil jins. So this la is called la of categorical no. It makes the isim of la, it makes it light. It never has the tanween or the heaviness. I hope that part is clear. Again, this is very basic stuff, so we're just going over really quickly because we all know this stuff. Now, the other part that has to do with this, the last letter, either the rafa, nasab, jar, or the i'rab of an isim is flexibility. An isim can either be fully flexible, it can be non-flexible, or partly flexible. Okay, so those are some of the properties of an isim. Now, fully flexible, what do we mean by fully flexible? It can take un and in, it can take u a in, or basically all those it can take. Partly flexible is it takes u a. Somebody actually gave us yathribu. So yathribu, yathriba, yathriba. Who can give us maybe like 2-3 more examples of partly flexible from different categories? There are so many, by the way.
Yusuf, Ibrahim.
So Yusuf, Yusufa, Yusufa, Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima, all those are names. Now let's go to another category, not names, something else. What other category do we have of mamnu' min as-sarf, partly flexible?
Makkata.
Sorry?
Makkata.
Makkata, yeah, name of a place. Makkata, Makkatu, Makkata, Makkata. So that's the name of a place, yes. Any other category that you guys remember from mamnu' min as-sarf? Partly flexible?
Broken plurals.
Yes, broken plural. Give me an example. A place of worship is called what?
Masajid. So you have
Masajid.
Yes, masajidu, masajida, masajida. If it's common, it's going to be mamnu' min as-sarf. It's going to be partly flexible. Yes, that's one example of partly flexible from broken plurals. Any other categories you guys remember? So there's like I said, there's quite a bit. There are, for example, isim tafdil. Isim tafdil, that pattern, if you remember, if you know what isim tafdil is, akbaru, asgharu, a'lamu, atyabu, whatever. All these words that follow this pattern, they are partly flexible. The other thing is we have certain names, feminine names, like Zainab, Aisha, I mentioned. These are names that Maryam, these are names that are partly flexible as well. Then also other names like Umar, names that follow the pattern fu'al. So Umar, Hubal, those are some of the names that are partly flexible. You will never find Umarun. So it's Umaru, Umara, Umara. Okay. What else do we have? Masabih, also the plurals following the pattern. So we have masajid, and then we have mafa'il and mafa'i, masajid and masabih. Somebody was going to say something, yes.
Yeah, I was saying that names of colors are also partly flexible, no?
Yes, yes. So hamra, names that end with this kind of pattern, they're partly flexible. So hamra, khadra, and all that. Sauda, all those patterns. Also names that have the same like ending, shuhada, ruhama, things
Bra.
like that. Kubra, yes. Kubra is actually mamnu' min, it's mabni, it's non-flexible because kubra ends with a alif maqsura. So when you have alif maqsura, wait, am I confusing? How do you say?
Like Musa, Isa, right?
Yes, like Musa, Isa. Those ones don't change at all. Like they're mabni because they end with alif maqsura. You can't say kubrayu, kubraya, kubraya, or you can't say kubru, kubra, kubra. You understand my point? So mamnu' min as-sarf is where you can actually say hamra'u, hamra'a, hamra'a, or zainabu, zainaba, zainaba, or yathribu, yathriba, yathriba. So that's where we get partly flexible. Words that you can do u'a'a, u'a'a, those are partly flexible. But those that do not take any flexibility at all, non-flexible, those ones don't change. Like alladhi is alladhi, alladhi, alladhi. You don't have alladhiyu, alladhiya, alladhi. There's nothing like that. Musa, Musa, Musa. Yeah, wusta, wusta, wusta. Like husna, husna, husna. Yeah. So those are some of, and there are other categories as well of mamnu' min as-sarf, but I don't think, like Ramadan is one of those categories that is mamnu' min as-sarf. Words that have anu, Ramadanu, this ending, also partly flexible. Anu, ani, no, sorry, anu, ana, ana. So Ramadanu, Ramadana, Ramadana. You will not find Ramadani unless. What is the unless part? Unless what happens? What do you guys think? What makes a partly flexible word fully flexible?
I think it becomes a marifa.
Yes, you add al, becomes marifa, and it becomes fully flexible. Or
Mudaf. No.
yes, or you make it a mudaf.
Mm.
If it becomes a mudaf, then it's fully flexible. So those are the two things that will change a partly. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them, because al-Zainabu does not exist. So Zainabu will always be mamnu' min as-sarf. Zainabu, Zainaba, Zainaba. Or al-Aishatu. You can't put an al on a proper name. It doesn't work like that. But if you take al and you put it on al-Makkah, then it becomes fully flexible. Al-Makkatu, 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 al-Makkati. No. Does it become? I don't know. There are certain words basically that if you put al on them or you make them a mudaf, it becomes fully flexible. All right. So yeah. So these are some of, they mentioned these three categories of partly flexible, like I mentioned, there are so many, like there are about, I think, 10 different categories. But these are the kind of the main ones that the others we can learn later on as we go on. So that is what i'rab is all about. Then we go to the adad, the number. Okay, so like I said, it's either singular, pair, or plural. Singular is singular. We know it's singular. Muslimun, waladun, bintun, babun. All these are singular words. Yeah, it's just one. It's talking about one thing. And then you have pair. When you have a pair, you have ani, aini, aini. Ani for rafa, aini, aini for jar, for nasab and jar. Plural is where we have a little bit of discussion happening, because with plural, you can have three kinds of plurals. You can have جمع مذكر سالم, which is the masculine plural. You can have جمع مؤنث سالم, which is the feminine plural. Then you can have جمع التكسير, which is the broken plural. So you have three kinds of plural when you're talking about plural. So feminine words, they will have a feminine plural. Masculine words will have a masculine plural. It's certain words that are the broken plurals that we have to treat a little bit differently. So what they're saying is atun ending, this is for feminine plural. We know the Muslimun chat. Muslimatun, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. We know that chat. So that is basically the feminine plural. Atun, atin, atin. Okay. And the masculine plural is una, ina, ina. So that is the masculine chat. Then you have the human broken plural, which is just different. There's no pattern for it. You cannot say that this is how all broken plurals are going to be. Like the way we have atun, atin, atin, you can't have that. So for broken plurals, it's going to be different. And it depends. There are certain patterns that are common, but it doesn't mean that all of them will follow that particular pattern. And such, and then you have, so those are human plurals. And then you have non-human plurals. They're going to be treated as singular feminine. Or they can have an atun. So depending on the balagha reason, sometimes you can have an atun ending, or it could be treated as one F. Yeah, we remember that. So that is something that, so you ask yourself, is it human? Is it non-human? Non-human, singular F, sometimes you have an atun ending. Then human plurals is either going to be feminine, masculine, or human broken plurals, like rijal, for example. Let's take the example of rijal. Rijal, what kind of a plural is that?
Human broken plural.
Yes, this is a human broken plural because it's talking about men. This is the plural. Rajulun is one man. Rijal is many men. Okay. And because it doesn't follow the rijaluna pattern, the una pattern, it is a broken plural, then this one will still be treated as masculine. We cannot say, okay, this is a broken plural. Now we're going to treat it as one F and it's talking about men. You can't do that. If something is feminine, and we're going to discuss that in gender next, if something is automatically feminine, we have to describe it as feminine. If something is born masculine, then we have to describe it as masculine, like that. Okay, so when we come to gender, we have two genders, like I said, masculine, feminine. Masculine is easy because that's for everyone. You know, una, ina, ina, there's no other substitution for masculine. That's it. Unless maybe if you have like human broken plurals like rijal. Okay. For feminine, the gender feminine, you have different categories of something considered feminine. Something, a word in Arabic can be considered feminine because it's biologically feminine, because it's associated with women. For example, pregnancy is associated with women. So a pregnant woman is always going to be feminine. There's a word for that in Arabic. You can never say a pregnant man. You can never say that. It doesn't exist. Menstruation is associated with women. So a woman menstruating is always going to be associated with women. So that's going to be considered biologically feminine. That's one category. The second category is these words that end with a ta marbuta, like we just did when we were doing introduction. We said talibatu, we said tabibatu, we added a ta marbuta to make something feminine. Not always. It's not always that you take a ta marbuta and something becomes feminine, but most of the time you put a ta marbuta, it becomes feminine. Also, words that end with alif and hamza. Sorry, yeah, this is, yeah, hamza. When you have that ending, it's going to be feminine most of the time, not all the time. For example, Musa. Musa ends with an alif maksura, but it's not feminine. We know that. So these are some of the endings that, you know, will make something feminine. Then you have body parts in pairs. So maybe you can give me some examples of body parts in pairs. What do you guys think? Some examples.
Ainun.
Ainun, eyes. Which are the body parts?
Yadun, hand.
Yadun, hand, exactly.
Rijlun,
Rijlun. Now, not to be confused with Rajul. I know a lot of people make this mistake. Now, I've written everywhere. Okay, let's find a space here. So you have Rajulun, and then you have Rijlun. Two different words. One means a man, the other one means leg. So those should not be confused. So Rijlun, yes. What other body parts can you think of? How do you say ears? in
Uzunun,
Arabic?
Uzunun,
Udhunun. Yes, udhunun, ears, or one ear. So all these different body parts that come in pairs have to be treated as feminine. Okay, proper names of places. So Yathrib, for example, is a proper name of a place. We treat it as feminine. Mecca is a proper name of a place. Now, you have Medina, for example. Right now, Medina is called Medina, but before, it was not called Medina. And Medina can actually mean a city. Madinatuna. When I say Madinatuna, I'm saying my city. So it's not really a proper name. So Medina, it has a tamarbuta, yes, but you know, we look at the meaning. For it to qualify as a proper name of a place, it has to it has to have that name of a proper place. So that's something we look at. Then you have non-human plurals. We just talked about that. Non-human plurals are treated as one F. So we said that. Then feminine, because the Arab said so. Give me some names of words of isms that are feminine because the Arab said so.
Arb.
Sorry, repeat that.
Arb.
Arb. Arb is
Yeah.
feminine because the Arab said so.
Right?
Yeah.
Be'er,
Nafs.
Be'er,
Nafs. Be'ir.
Nar.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dar, Dar,
Dar. Yes.
Shams,
Shams.
Jahannam.
Jahannam.
Rih.
All the names of Jahannam, by the way, are feminine.
Say that again.
All the names of Jahannam. So Nar,
Yes.
Jahannam, Sa'ir, all those are feminine. What else? Can you think
Rih.
of? Say that again.
Rih. Air.
Rih,
Hawa.
rih, wind. Yes.
Yes, wind.
Rih is feminine. Bucket. What's the name of a bucket?
Dalu.
Dalwoon. Yes, it's feminine. Cup.
Tas.
Kas. Somebody else said something else.
Asa.
Sorry.
Asa. Staff.
Like as the stick. Sa.
Asa. Asa.
Asa.
Like Musa's staff. Yes, Musa's stick.
Asa. Yes, with
Asa.
ayn. Yes, asa.
Ayn.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Stick. Yes, asa. Yes. Yeah, that's feminine. Yes. Yeah, I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah, so those are some of the names that are feminine because the Arabs just decided, you know, yeah. Actually, there's some wisdom to it. Like, for example, when you look at Arab, the land, it gives birth to crops. So they associated that with women because women give birth as well. So if you look at, and women are nurturing and things like that. And I don't know about Jahannam and Sa'ir and Nar, but maybe it has to do with emotions. I don't know, or hot temper or something. I don't know. But that's what they decided. So that's gender in general. Then lastly, we have type. So a word in Arabic, it can either be common or proper, like we mentioned, but we know that common, it just means there's no al. If there's no al, then it's common. But proper, there are actually more ways in which a word can be proper. Okay. So the first one, of course, is when you have al on it. That's the most common one. You see al on any word, you know this is proper. It has that meaning of the house, al-bayt, the masjid, al-masjid, the school, you know, that al-madrasa, al-kitab, the book, al-qalam, all that. So you put an al on it, becomes proper. Proper name, like for example, Ilham, my name, that's going to be proper. Let me pick somebody here. Afroz, you came late, so I'm going to pick on you. Then we have, you know, so these are some of the proper names. So any proper name is going to be considered proper. Also, proper names of places is going to be considered proper. The one being called, the munada, becomes proper. Like if I say, Ya Aisha, Aisha will become proper. The munada, the one being called. Pronouns are always proper. Huwa, hum, huma, hunna, all those proper. Even the attached ones, you know, like who or he or ha, all those attached pronouns, they're also proper. Pointing words, asma.
Sorry, I
Yes.
have a question. When you said the munada becomes proper,
Yeah.
it doesn't show that it's become proper, but we know it as a rule, correct?
Yes, that is a rule. Yeah, even like pronouns, you know, they don't show that it's proper, but we know it as a rule. When we see a pronoun, we know this is proper. We can never see a pronoun anywhere, even if it is attached to an isim or attached to a fi'al, we know it is proper. So it will make, if for example, it's an idafa, it is attached to an isim, then it will make the whole idafa proper. Okay, because maybe that's another thing we needed to say. Idafa, they get 3 properties from the mudaf ilay and 1 property from the mudaf. So the mudaf will give the status, but the mudaf ilay will give the gender, the type, and the number for that whole idafa. That's just maybe something I forgot to mention, and I think it's important to mention. So pointing words, asma'ul ishara, hadha, hadihi, hadani, haula'i. So all those pointing words, they're always going to be proper. We know that they're proper. That's also a rule. Al-asma'ul mawsula, alladhi, alladhani, allati, man, ma. There's also ma mawsula. So we have to, there, I think about 8 different categories of ma. So we have to know which ma it is. So asma'ul mawsula, they're also going to be proper. And then of course, this category, like I just mentioned, the 4 properties of a mudaf or of an idafa. If the mudaf ilay is proper, then the mudaf is going to be proper, or rather the whole idafa will be proper. And look at that. That's the whole summary of words, of ism rather. We just covered in a couple of minutes. Alhamdulillah. So we'll look at some exercises and then we'll see. Any questions on this summary or anything that we missed that you maybe need clarification on?
I just want to confirm that
Yes.
common is called nakira and the proper is called marifa.
Yes. Common is called nakira, proper is called ma'arifa. So when you see ma'arifa, you know they mean these 7 categories. There are 7 in total. So that's what it means. And of course, there's also balagha reasons why a word is nakira when it's expected to be ma'arifa, or when a word is ma'arifa and then it's nakira, or the opposite, all that. That's why we are learning Arabic, by the way, so that we can understand this is the normal, why Allah said it like this. Then we get the deeper meaning, inshallah. Any other questions or clarifications? Okay. So how many of you guys have done the exercises on the workbook? Have you all done the exercises on the workbook? Or are you
Yes.
familiar with the workbook?
Yes.
Or maybe I should ask, who has not done the exercises on the workbook? Is there anybody? Okay, so I think we're all good. We've all gone through this workbook, so it should be easier. So what I'm going to do is, like I mentioned, I'm going to skip chapter 1 homework, because these are very, very basic. It's just to identify, you know, if a word is ism, harf, fi'al, we're going to skip all that. It's very basic. You can do that on your own. We're going to skip chapter 2 as well, because it's more or less the same stuff, light versus heavy and really basic stuff. So I think we can start with really quickly, because this, have we done fragments? No, we haven't done fragments. Okay. What will we do here? Okay, maybe we can just do an exercise on light versus heavy, because sometimes that one can be quite confusing. And if there's a gender one, maybe I would like to do gender as well. Touch pronouns. Let's see. Let's start with light versus heavy and flexibility and non-flexibility. So we can do this exercise and then maybe we can look at other exercise from elsewhere. Okay. So determine whether the words below are light, heavy, or irrelevant. What do we mean by irrelevant? What is a word? When a word has yes, yeah. When a word has al, it doesn't really matter if it's heavy or light. The discussion, it doesn't matter anymore because it has al on it. So that's maybe just a point I didn't mention. So that's important to revise. Okay, so number one, what do you guys think? We've already said the answer.
Irrelevant.
Yes, so this is irrelevant. Maghanima, what do you guys think? Light or heavy?
Light.
Light.
Why is it light? Well, what is the reason?
No tanween.
Yeah, there's no tanween, it's true. But what is making it light? There are 4 reasons for an ism to be light. So what would be
Maybe
one?
Mudaf. It may be mudaf.
If it was a mudaf, then there needed to be a mudaf ilayh. There's no mudaf ilayh.
Hardly
So-
flexible.
It's mamnu
Broken
min
plural.
as-sarf.
Yes, somebody said it mamnu'a min as-sarf. It is, what does mamnu'a min as-sarf mean? It is partly flexible. A partly flexible word. How do we know this? This is where vocabulary comes in handy. So maghanima is, you know, the after war, and then people go and collect the booty, the bounty, or whatever is left off, the swords, the whatever is left off in the at war. That's maghanima. So it's the plural of booty. So that's maghanima. And that's why it is light, because it is partly flexible. Okay, how about majmu'un?
Heavy.
Yeah, this is clear. You can see the tanween right there. متحيزا.
Heavy.
Heavy.
Tanween.
Yeah. tanween. إدريسة.
Light.
But why though?
Partly
Mamnu min
flexible.
as-sarf.
Yes, mamnu' min as-sarf, partly flexible, because what is the
It's a
reason?
non-Arab
name.
name. Non-Arab
Ah.
name.
Name.
A non-Arab name. Yes, exactly. الصابرين.
Heavy.
It's fully, yeah, it's heavy
Yeah.
because of
Heavy.
ending
No,
combination.
no.
Yes.
Isn't it
every-
irrelevant? Sabirina with the al?
Oh yeah, actually.
Al doesn't make it light. It just doesn't like tanween.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what is al? Yeah, al doesn't like tanween. So I think
Al-
yeah,
Al can be
It would be
adjusted
irrelevant.
with noon. It just doesn't like tanween. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, but it
Is
would be
this
irrelevant
heavy
in
or-
Sabirina.
Yes, I think it's irrelevant.
Yes, it's
I'm not sure.
irrelevant. Yes.
You think so? Okay, we'll go with
It's
irrelevant. I'm not sure. That confused me a bit. We'll check in the answer key and confirm. Okay. متبرجات.
It's
Heavy.
heavy.
Tanween right there. مأجوج.
Light.
Why though?
It's a non-Arab name.
Yes, non-Arab name, so it's partly flexible. Because Juj or Ma'juj, it's not.
Yeah.
Although some people say it is derived from Arabic, but most also, a lot of scholars say it's non-Arab name. Okay. Malumina.
It's heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah, ending combo, right?
Yes.
Al-Jannata.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Okay. Oh, this is from my other classes. Let me delete that. Okay. Determine whether the following words are fully flexible, partly flexible, non-flexible. Provide the reason. So Saleh, is it
Fully
fully?
flexible.
Why?
Arab name.
Yes. So this is Arab. Yusra?
Partly flexible.
Non-flexible.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
alif maqsura. Right?
Yes.
So you can't say yusru, yusra, you can't say that. So it's just yusra everywhere. Right? And then mafatih, what do you guys
Partly
think?
flexible.
Why?
Broken plural.
Yes.
Masajids.
From that, pattern, masajid, exactly, mafa'il. So there are two patterns, mafa'il and mafa'il, masajid and masabih. So I normally just remember those two words and then it reminds me. Awliya, what do you guys think?
Partly flexible.
Why?
Broken plural. Human.
Yes, this is human broken plural. Okay, so awliya'u, awliya'a, awliya'a. Al-akbar,
Fully flexible.
fully flexible. Why?
Superlative word.
Exactly. So remember, when you have comparative words, isim tafdil, you put an al on it, it becomes fully flexible. Okay. Bayda.
Partly flexible.
Reason?
Color.
Yes,
Because of the ending, yeah.
because of the ending. When you have this kind of ending, alif and hamza, it's going to be partly flexible. Mas'ul,
Fully flexible.
fully flexible. Yeah. So that one just follows a normal pattern. There's nothing preventing it from being fully flexible. Zaid,
Partly flexible.
why partly?
Non-Arab name.
But this we did cover.
Yes.
Three
Three
letters.
words. 3 letters.
Sukoon in the
Three
middle.
letters with a
Almost
sukoon in the
forgot.
middle.
Yes.
When you have three letters of a place or a person with a sukoon in the middle, no. You have whichever. Trying to think of a name of a place. Don't know. Hind is also another
Misr.
name. Misr,
Misr.
yes. So Misr, these are names with a sukoon in the middle. All of these names are going to be fully flexible. Okay. So this is fully flexible. Ghafur,
Fully flexible.
fully flexible. Allahu Ghafurun Rahim. We read that in the Quran a lot. So there's no reason for it. Luqman. What do you guys
Partly
think?
flexible.
Partly flexible.
Why?
Non-Arab.
Non-Arab name.
Not non-Arab name only, but also the ending. Alif and Noon is going to be partly flexible. So the way I remember this is I think of our Ustad Nu'man. That's how I remember. Nu'man, partly flexible. So any pattern that follows that, Luqman, Uthman, Nu'man, all those words are partly flexible. Then we have Al-Madina,
Fully flexible.
fully flexible. Why?
Just
Al.
city.
Yeah. Al. You put al on it, becomes fully flexible. This one we're going to skip. because-
Just to confirm,
Yes.
Misrun is fully flexible, right? Just now you mentioned.
Yes, fully flexible. Because
Okay.
there's a part in the Quran where Allah says Misra.
Yeah.
So we have Misra. And then there's another part in the Quran where he says Misri. So Misra and Misri.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
even know from the Quran that it's fully flexible there. Okay. So let's look at our answers. Let's see how well we did. Let me just try and see if I can copy this. Drag it. Okay. So that's that's what we did. So the first one we said it was irrelevant. The second one we said it was light. Then we said heavy, light, irrelevant. You were right. Whoever said it was irrelevant, you were very right because of al, doesn't matter. Then heavy, light, heavy. Yeah, and irrelevant. So alhamdulillah, here we got 100% today. Sometimes you might not, but we are all learning, right? And then the second part, Saliha, we said it was fully flexible because it's an Arab name. Yusra, Alif Maksura, I think that's the reason why we said it was non-flexible. Then you have Mafati, certain plurals from the pattern Mafa'il, that pattern. And then you have Awliya, also that pattern. It's a broken plural. Al-Akbar, fully flexible because of al. Bayda, we said words that end like this, or you can even say rhymes with fu'ala or fa'ala. They're going to be partly flexible. So bayda'u, bayda'a, bayda'a. Mas'ulun, that's how it's supposed to be, fully flexible. Zaid, it's fully flexible. It's an Arab name, but also even if it was just no here, it will still be fully flexible. Then Ghafur, that's the default. Luqman, non-Arab name, but also this pattern of Alif and Noon. Then Al-Madina, you have Al on it. So it's fully flexible. Okay. So that's basically the exercise that we can do there. So maybe let's look at something a little bit interesting. Some exercises here, I'm just going to make them bigger so that you can all see. These are some exercises that I got from another book. So I just want us to go through and see how they're very basic. This is like the initial stuff, and then it will get difficult as we go. So correct the following words, stating a reason and give their meaning. Number one, what do you guys think?
Al-Baytun is wrong. It has al and tanween.
Convene
Yeah.
together.
You cannot have al and tanween. Either you have al or you have tanween, not both of them. So either it's al-bayt or just baytun. So can't have both. Same thing with number three. Al-waraqun, you can't have this. So we have to either get rid of the tanween or get rid of the al. And then al-fataha, what do you guys think? What is wrong there?
It's a past tense,
Yeah,
so it's not supposed to have al.
yeah, because it's
Fa'ala
a madi.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the sighatul madi, fataha, yaftahu, we memorize that, and then they put an al on it. A fi'l can never have al on it. So if you recognize that this is a fi'l, you can never have al on a fi'l, okay? So that's what's wrong with that one. Number four, sami'un.
Sami'a pattern.
Fail.
Fi'l
No,
madi.
it's fail with the tanween, which is wrong.
Yes. So they put a fi'l with a tanween. Again, these are alamat. They're called alamat al-ism, the signs of an ism. So there are certain ways you can identify an ism. There are certain ways you can identify a fi'l. So the ways in which you identify an ism cannot apply on a fi'l. And the ways in which you identify a fi'l cannot apply on an ism. And the way in which you identify a harf is that they don't take any of the signs of the ism and the fi'l. Okay? So tanween and al, those are specific for isms. You can never have them on fi'ls. Find the meanings on the plurals of the following isms using a dictionary. So if you know, you can say it. If you don't know, I can show you how to get such words. What do you guys think? Bustanun, it means a garden.
Yeah, got it.
What do you guys think? What could be the plural of bustanun? It's a tricky one.
I think it's with the yanun ending. I am not doing the pattern.
Busatin.
Basatin.
Yeah,
Busatin, I think.
17. Yes, right.
Yeah. So that's the plural of that one. Then qamarun, what do you guys think?
Qamar is moon, no?
Ah, yes, moon. So we want to say moons.
Aqmar.
Yes, aqmar. So the plural of that will be aqmar. And then babun.
Bab.
Sorry,
Abwab.
repeat that. Yes,
Abwab.
abwab. So this will be doors. Kalb.
Dog.
Car. Dog.
Kilabun.
Kilabun.
Fi'alun pattern. Yeah.
Yes, kilabun. With a tanween, of course. Translate the following sentences and identify the different types of fi'als in them. What do you guys think? فتح خالد الشباك. خالد الشباك. They write like this because it's a tanween. خالد. So they're just making it, you understand, like, okay, you put a kasra to join. خالد الشباك.
Khalid opened. I don't know what
Uh-huh.
Shabbat.
The window. Shabak is a window. Yeah, so that's another word we've learned today. Alhamdulillah. So I want you today to make a sentence using this word shabak until it becomes in your vocabulary. It enters your mind. Shabak, shabak, shabak. فتحت الشباك. I opened the window. فاطمة فتحت الشباك. Until it, yeah. So what is the fi'al?
فتح.
فتح. And what kind of a fi'al is that? I know we
فعل
haven't
فعل
done,
ماضي.
yes.
ماضي.
I know we haven't done the files, but you know, this is stuff you know. So, and since it's revision, we might actually go from here, then we jump to Asma al-Mawsula, we jump, we go back here and there because it's just revision, okay? So how do we, somebody I think translated this, yeah. So Khalid opened the window,
Window.
right? Then we have number 2. يدرس أحمد في المدرسة.
Ahmed studies
In the school.
in the school.
In the school.
Yeah.
So Ahmed studies in the school. So this will be the متعلق. متعلق بالفعل, this is our فعل, and this is the outside doer. Okay,
Fine.
and this means this فعل is a what kind of a فعل?
فعل مضارع.
Mudari.
مضارع. So let me write that nicely. Like I said, my handwriting sometimes it becomes good, sometimes it becomes worse. You just bear with me. Okay. اكتب رسالة.
It's an umr.
30.
Mm,
Write a message.
Write a letter.
Yeah.
Yes, write a letter. You're commanding someone. Write a letter. لا تقرأ ذلك الكتاب.
Don't read that.
Don't
book.
read that book.
Yes, don't read that book. And that means this is what kind of a فعل?
فعل
النهي.
نهي.
النهي.
Remember when we say yes, وَالنَّهْيُ مِنْهُ, this is the nahi part. All right. Normally, I would maybe take like 5 minutes to pray Maghrib, but I'm not praying right now, so we can just continue. Next week, I probably have to end for like 5 minutes, and then I could pray Maghrib.
Chance.
Okay. Do you guys want? So maybe we could, because we haven't done this. I want to do. There's an exercise I wanted to do. Good here. Oh yeah. Yeah, we can try and do this. So translate, fill in the i'rab, and analyze the following phrases. So we haven't done the fragments and whatnot, but we know this thing. سيارة الرجل. Yes, go on.
Sayara two is
Men's
a
car.
car and it's an idafa. So
Yes.
the
سيارة الرجل.
car of the man.
Men's
Yes.
car.
Yeah. So we can say a man's car. Put an apostrophe, yes, a man's car. Yeah, the car, a car of the man, a man's car. سيارة الرجل. So when you read that, you would join it, the two and the ra. So سيارة الرجل. This is, maybe we can just do a revision of that. There are two kinds of, what are they called? Like words, if you will. or letters. There are two kinds of letters in Arabic. Ash-Shamsiyya, Qamariyya. I think you've had that before. So there are certain words where you don't pronounce the L, and there are certain words where you pronounce the L. So for example, if I say Ash-Shamsiyya, by the way, the word for umbrella is Shamsiyya. So that's another vocabulary word, Shamsiyya. And Al-Qamariyya. Qamariyya. So these are two kinds of letters. There are letters where you pronounce the Al, like Al-Qamariyya, and there are letters where you don't pronounce the Al, you say Ash-Shamsiyya. So Sayyaratur Rajuli, this will be a Shamsiyya letter. Okay, but where I pronounce the Al, like Al-Jamila, Wardatul Jamila, Al-Jamila in this case would be Qamariyya, because I have to pronounce the Al. So that's just between Shamsiyya and Qamariyya. Number 2, what do you guys think?
It's a number 14.
Uh-huh.
Arba Ashara.
Yes. So Arba'u Ashara. How do we treat numbers from 14? Normally we treat as
Mudaf ilayh.
yes. So Arba'u Ashara. We don't say Ashari. There's nothing like that. So normally it was supposed to be Arba'un wa Ashara, but then they got rid of the waw. So Arba'u Ashara or Arba'a Ashara. It's Arba'a. Yeah. Don't know if it. Not sure here. Why am I so confused? Arba'a Ashara. Okay. Number 3. What do you guys think? Yeah. Go on.
Babu Faslil Madrasati.
So Babu Faslil Madrasati.
Madrasati.
A chain of a mudaf, a chain of idafa,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that's why we're making it light. Babu is light, Fasli is light because it's a chain of an idafa. Babu Faslil Madrasati. What does it mean?
The door of the class of the school.
Yes. The door of the
The
class of the school.
school's class door or
Door.
something.
Yes.
Mm.
So the class door of the school. You can say it like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's better.
Okay, number 4. What do you guys think?
Qalamur Rajulul Tawil. A tall man pen.
Okay. So now,
Qalamu Rajuli.
The tall
Tawil.
man's
Okay.
pen.
yes. So now there are 2 ways of looking at this sentence. You could say qalamur rajuli tawilu, or you can say qalamur rajuli tawili. What difference would it make? What do you guys think?
It should be Tawili because it's
Oh,
most
sorry,
of
no. Sorry, no. This can only be a tawili. Sorry, I was
Yes.
reading
No,
somewhere
from
else
Sifa.
and then
Mausu Sifa. Yeah.
yes, no, so super. No, because there's a place. No, actually, yeah, it can be. Yes, it can be. It can be. It can be either tawilu or tawili. Yes. Somebody explain if you can figure it out.
I think when it is Tawili, it's the Sifa of Rajul.
Uh-huh.
When it is Tawilu, it's the Sifa of Qalam.
Exactly. Yeah.
It follows the
So-
same Arab, right? Yeah.
Yes, it follows the same Arab. So if I want to say the pen is the one that is tall, then I will put a dhamma on it. So I'm describing the pen. But if I want to say that the man is the one that is tall, which is the more sensible one in this case, then I would say tawili. How is it a tawil mawsuf sifatu qalam? Because we know that the property of properness comes from the mudaf. If the mudaf ilay is proper, then the mudaf will be proper. That's why it's a qalamun is also proper. That's why it matches in 4 properties. I hope that's clear. So
yes.
the pen of the tall man, or the tall pen of the man, however.
Tall man's pen.
Yes,
Yeah.
tall man's pen. Yes. Number 5. What do you guys think?
الوردة الجميلة.
Yes, al-waradatul jamilatu, which means
The beautiful rose.
warda means rose, so the beautiful rose. Number 6.
قلم رقيق.
قلم رخيص.
Yes. So yeah, so we have to also understand, like, is it mawsuf sifa or is it mudaf ilayh? But because idafa will not make sense in this case, because rakhis means cheap. So we say if we translate it to be pen of cheap, then you realize it doesn't make sense if you translate it. So now you're left with mawsuf sifa, qalamun rakhisun. So the cheap is describing the pen, a cheap pen. Oh, okay. This one, let's skip it. I will come back to it. Let's do number 8.
ذلك الكتاب.
Surah Baqarah. Okay, it's ismul ishara and musharun ilayh. So that's why it's al-kitabu, because it's the mubtada, ذلك الكتاب. Yeah. So now let's look at number 7. Number 7, you know, when I said mamnu' min as-sarf, they partly flexible words, there are so many different categories. This one is one of them. Now, what happened with words like this, which they rarely happen, by the way, in the Quran. So that's why probably we didn't discuss them in Bayyinah, because they're very few. For example, the word like Hadramaut. You know where Hadramaut is? Has anybody heard of Hadramaut? So Hadramaut is a place in Yemen, and it's one of the main cities in Yemen. But how this name came about is that it was actually made of 2 words. So Hadara and Mautun. Hadara means, who knows what Hadara means?
It's present, right?
Yes,
To be
present
present,
or
yeah.
to attend. Hadartul fasl, I attended the class. Hadartil fasl, you attended the class. So hadara, to attend, to be present. For example, sometimes when you take attendance and somebody calls your name, the class teacher calls your name, you say, Hadir, I'm present, right? So that's what it means, hadara. And then you have maut. What does maut mean?
Death.
Death. So this is a place where death was present. And so it was used a lot until it became known as Hadramaut. And so because it became known as that, it became partly flexible, because it's actually 2 words that came together. It's not just one Arabic word, it's actually 2 words. So in that case, the mautun became partly flexible. So Hadramautu, Hadramauta, Hadramauta. That's one word. Let me give you another word that is more common right now. New York. New York is 2 words, New and York. But because it was used together so much, it became 1 word. Right now, New York is 1 word. So when you say dhahabtu ila New York, you won't say New Yorkie, you will say New Yorker. Dhahabtu ila New Yorker. So New Yorku, New Yorker, New Yorker. It's a difficult word. But yeah, so this is one category of mamnu' min as-sarf. So this word, ma'ad yakrib, is actually the same thing. It's 2 words. Ma'ad means stomach. Yakrib means like it's turning or it's upset. My stomach is upset. But it's a name of a place. So it becomes partly flexible. Okay. So this, I think they were trying to trick us in this exercise. Okay. By the way, what time do you guys want us to end? So that's something we need to also figure out.
Can we end now? It's been over an hour.
Yes, it's been over an hour. Okay. So maybe we can pick up from this exercises next week because we haven't even done fragments. So we can do the summary of fragments and then pick up some of these exercises from here. And then what else? Then we can do, there's an exercise I wanted us to do, a pro properties exercise. Maybe we can do next week, inshallah. But before we end, like I mentioned, there are about 3 things I wanted us to finalize and discuss. 3 pending issues. Number 1, so sometimes not everybody can attend. So I need to know, like, if how many people attend, can we start? And how many people, you know, like if we reach 4 people, can we start? Or if we reach 3 people, if it's just 2 people, can we start? What should be the quorum? So I want us to agree on that. Also, I want us to agree, or there's somebody mentioned if we can do weekly revision. I don't know if that's possible, so you can mention that. And also the timing, because we also have this time, we normally have the class live going on. So we will have to also agree on time if that's possible. And also we need to agree on how long the session should be. Should it be 1 hour? Should it be 1.5? Should it be 2 hours? Depending on everybody's schedule. So those are 3 things we need to agree. What do you guys think? Should we discuss this on the group? Or can we agree on that now?
Let's do polls.
Sorry?
Polls. We can do polls on WhatsApp. No.
Or we
Is it on
discuss?
Saturdays and Sundays, both days?
Yes, both days, Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. Weekly revision, Hassan, how are you suggesting?
I don't know, somebody mentioned in the group, so I don't know what, because they thought maybe we won't cover a lot if we just do 2 days in a week. So maybe she wanted us to do more.
That was me.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's something we can think about and see if something we can be able to do. And we can do maybe different times because it cannot be now, because this is normally the time for live. So maybe I will post it in the group. I'll start a poll in the group and we can all vote. And inshallah, we'll go with majority because majority, we cannot please everyone. All of us have different schedules and different things. So we cannot all fit. So we have to make sacrifices here and there, inshallah, and see what works for everyone. Quorum, how many
inshallah.
people? Should I also put that in the group? I think I just put all that in the group and people can vote to be easier and quicker. And so forth.
Yes. It'll give
Yeah,
us time to think
inshallah.
about it.
Okay. All right, then if there's no any questions or any other clarifications or concerns, we can end here. Then we can discuss further on the group, inshallah. I'm going to stop the recording.